Wistoria Wand and Sword may have finally escaped the Black Clover clone allegations. Or maybe not actually. Wand and Sword, Episode 15. One single magic spell reveals the meaning of Wand and Sword. With his limiter released, Will is finally able to unlock his Whis. With the use of the Mage Blade, we'll call it the Magi Blade for short, Will uses his unique ability to save the capital, but that's not without sacrifices. In the end of the last episode, Will is saved by Rosti at the cost of his life. But the animation at the end finally reveals that Rosti has indeed been one of Alfaria's ice clones this whole time. Many of us in the anime-only community kind of figured this out, but if you're late to the party, there it is. Alfaria has been using magic to keep tabs on her love, but we'll talk about that later. Will is rescued by Walkener, who suffers a life-threatening injury. On his last breath, he reveals that Will can indeed use one magic spell. After the brief explanation by Finn, Will gathers the courage to pick up the sword again. As Will's friends struggle to defend the city, we did get somewhat of a redeeming moment from Wistoria's Professor Snape, which I still hate, by the way. Yeah, he showed sympathy for the dwarves, but only because of his own self-interest. While the capital falls, the Magiavander is in complete disarray because of their powerlessness to stop the chaos. Many of the members are content to watch from the tower, but not Alfaria and surprisingly Zio, who I'm actually becoming quite fond of. Alfaria proves she is probably the strongest member of the Magiavander. With her ice clone defeated, Alfaria wants to go protect Will and the other citizens of the capital. She even tries to step to the old king. Before she has to use force, Will is awakened. The transformed Will in an instance wiped out the horde of Dinosaurs. I appreciate the pacing of this episode because they actually showed a glimpse of Will's new power, instead of just hitting us with a cliffhanger. But as soon as Will saves Scion and Coilette, the episode ends. Not too high of a cliff, to be honest. If I were to rate this episode, I'd give it an 8.7. The pacing was good and the conversation was minimal. Another anime would have dragged out the Walkener situation, then ended the episode with a power-up. Typical shonen playbook. My highlights of the episode were Will's transformation and Alfaria, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters, to be honest. Her prowess with magic is a sight to behold because when all the other Magiavander are presumed exhausted after the ceremony, Alfaria still maintains her ice clones and is even able to flex a bit on the old king. Now is probably a good time to talk about the ice clone. The Will and Rosti yaoi fans probably aren't doing so well. The Alfaria ice clone realization has been a running joke since Will and Coilette's date in season 1. I think it's hilarious. While everyone else is honing their magic for combat, Alfaria is using hers to block all advances. Alfaria is officially the defensive player of the year. One has to appreciate her practical use of magic. Base Alfaria can't be there in person, so she's forced to stalk in spirit. The last thing I want to touch on is the Black Clover clone allegations. Although there are similarities between Will and Asta not being able to use magic and wielding swords, I believe that's where the comparisons end. Wistoria Wand and Sword displays the same tropes of many of the other Magic Academy anime, which I don't really consider Black Clover one of those. I really like the concept of ascending the tower to become a candidate for Magiavander in Wistoria. The Magiavander concept adds a little more depth to the Hokage/Magic King template. I must admit, I'm a little more locked in with the world building and plot for Wistoria Wand and Sword, but Black Clover has some great characters and fight scenes, and the animation has definitely hit a new level in the second half of the series. I haven't read the source material for Wistoria Wand and Sword yet, but in my opinion, it's an all-around better starting product. The animation and color palette are crisp, and the character development is on point for all of the characters. I'm a bit more invested in the character relationships of Wistoria Wand and Sword, the love interest being one of them. Black Clover is casually fumbling one of my favorite characters, which is probably why I'm so critical. Noelle, we love you. I guess I'll end my rant there. I don't think the comparison between the two series is really warranted. I like both of them for completely different reasons and will continue to support them. If you enjoyed this reaction video, please like and think about subscribing to the channel. I actually think I'm starting to get a hang of this long form content stuff. This is New Classic Anime, and I hope you're enjoying your day. Peace.